Hey, this is Richard Simple Tuts, bringing you the second Blender tutorial. Today we are going to go through the specular, the better lighting and textures, as I was saying before. So, first of all, to turn off the specular, you need to select your light, just by right clicking on it over here. Go into the shading tab, and just clicking on no specular, which is down here. And you will see in the preview, it starts to disappear when you turn it on or off. So next we will go through some better lighting. So when you've got your light selected, I'm first of all going to move it so it's in front of the object. I'm then going to go to the world buttons, and up here there's a tab for ambient occlusion, so we click on this, then we click on this big button here and set the samples down to 1 just for this purpose of the tutorial. You also may want to set the energy here from 1 to 0.5. So when we render now, there we go. I'm going to add a plane under this so that you can see the shadows that are achieved. Oops, sorry. Need to move under first. There we go. Put down a bit more. Okay. There we go. Pretty cool shadow. And we're just using a basic lamp here, so if we go ahead and click on our lamp again by right clicking and selecting Sun from the light properties under the shading panel and re-render this scene, the shadow will change. There we go. So once you start applying textures to this model, it starts to get more realistic. Obviously it's not perfect, but it's the easier way than radiosity in Blender, as I find that really tricky. As in this way, it's just so easy to achieve pretty good renders just by pushing a few buttons. So next we're going to move on to texturing an object. We'll do UV mapping and just basic texturing. So for this I'm going to have to open up my Photoshop. I'll just resize this 1 second. Okay, so once you're in Photoshop, I'm just going to create a new document. We'll go with 640 by 480, and I am just going to add a effect to this. So go to filter, filter gallery, and texture, pick texturizer and pick brick. Oops, my fault, 1 second. Need to pick different colours, so we need a sort of brick colour. Like, we'll go for that, and like yellowy colour for the cement in the middle, so like this, and redo the effect. So texturizer and brick. Okay, I'm sorry. What we need to do is fill the document. So using a bit of a Photoshop tutorial too. If you don't know how I've done that, you can just left click and hold and it pops up the menu, and that works on any button that has a little black arrowhead in the corner. Okay, so we want to fill this with our brick colour, and let's just go ahead and add that brick texture again. Okay, that will do. Perfect. I've taken long enough on this. I'm just going to save this to the desktop as brick. Okay, full quality. Okay, back to Blender. We are going to just do normal texturing first. I'm going to right click on my cube to select it, and under the shading panel, go onto the texture buttons or push F6. Then this window will appear. Under texture type where it says none, I'm going to go ahead and click and pick image. Then I'm going to click on load and find my image, which is on the desktop, and select it. Hopefully this will render out with a brick texture wrapped around. Yes, it does. It's very small, so that's my fault actually because of the size of the bricks in Photoshop. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this image. So under this image tab, I'm going to click on the X to delete it, and then I'm going to delete the texture by clicking on this one. Now if we right click on this black line here, which you can pull up and down, if you right click and choose split area, split the area roughly in the middle. On the right panel, I'm going to click on this button here and choose UV image editor, and on my cube, when I've got it selected, press tab to enter edit mode. Make sure the vertices are selected, go to image, or if you've already loaded an image, if you click on these arrows here, we can pick our brick image again, which will now have hopefully UV mapped again. So let's go ahead and check. No. And I think the reason why that hasn't appeared is because under textures there isn't any texture, so I'll just click on add new, and that should hopefully sort everything out. No, it hasn't. Okay. That's strange. I wonder if it'll work in the... No, it won't work in there either. Let's go to textured. Ah, there we go. The textures, for some reason, won't work in the render. Whoops. But they will work on in the game engine. So there's the bricks in the game engine, but I think I've just worked it out actually. If we go over to the material buttons and press text face, that should let us see it. Yep, there we go. So that's how you can do UV mapping. So if we want the bricks to be bigger, all you have to do is scale down, and you see the bricks are getting bigger. The only problem with this is I don't think it's seamless, so you might get some seams in it, but if not, that's a double plus. There we go. So I've made the bricks a bit bigger. I'm going to keep going until I can actually see some bricks. There we go. So sorry if I've made it more confusing, but that's how to UV map. Just apply a normal texture, add some decent lighting, and also turn specular off, which is the shine you get from the light on a 3D surface. The next tutorial I'll be doing will go through making some glass and reflective objects and some mirrors. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope it was of use, and thanks for all the great comments from my last tutorial.